document here. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Rocky Miller podcast. And I'm, of course, Rocky Miller. Again, I want to also thank everybody for tuning in on the Offscript channel as well as the Rocky Miller channel. You guys could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're right here with me, and I certainly appreciate it. Now, this is a very special episode of the Rocky Miller podcast because I have somebody that I have watched time and time again on YouTube, really enjoy this content. This is really the first time we'll sit down and really have a conversation and get to know one another. And I'm so excited about it because I believe he's a super talented guy. They have a podcast that's a little different than everybody else's, in my opinion. They want to be informative and smart about how they deliver the content, but they are super, super funny and humorous. And I like I say, I love their content. With no further ado, I'd like to bring up my man, G.
What's up, my guy?
Hey, what's up, G? What's going on, man? I want to thank you first for coming on, man. I reached out to you on very short notice. You're coming on, as you know, on the Rocky Miller channel. We're going to have Coach Cedric Thomas, your school's head coach. So I wanted you to come on before him and let us give me an impression of what can I expect and what are some good things to ask Coach as going into this show. I also want to make the announcement at this time as well. For reasons beyond our control, we won't be broadcasting on the Offscript channel Coach Thomas's interview. However, you will be able to get it on the Rocky Miller channel. So just tune on. So if you're watching on Offscript right now, remember, Coach Thomas's interview is at 5 o'clock, and it won't be broadcast on the Offscript channel. It'll be broadcast on the Rocky Miller channel. With that piece of housekeeping out of the way, G, what's up, man? What's going on?
Man, doing pretty good, bro. Happy you had me on. When I called you yesterday, I was leaving camp. I was just leaving from chilling with Coach. We was chilling. I went down there yesterday and cooked for the coaching staff. We had a good fellowship yesterday. And I called you. When I was calling you, I was leaving campus. So it was right on time. Time.
What was going on campus yesterday?
Well, we had our last scrimmage of camp. Then me and my guy Trill, we just kind of cooked for the coaching staff. We always just do and kind of just fellowship with the staff.
Well, let me ask you this here, G. If people don't know you, a lot of people may be watching, may know you, but I want you to act like this is your first time being introduced to an audience, because I want anybody who doesn't know you to really know who G is and what you do for the HBCU sports media space. So, G, without no further, I know you're an Alcorn guy.
Yeah.
But what's your connection to the school?
My whole family. I've been there all my life. I'm talking about all my life. Every since I was born, my dad. I have about 25 to 30. I counted 25. I kind of have about 25 family members that attended Alcorn State. So it's through and through. This is what I did every fall of my life. I don't know how. The year COVID happened and we didn't have football in the fall, I didn't know what to do, because all my life, all I've ever done was go on a reservation in the fall and watch SWAC football, travel, tailgate, do all that with SWAC football. So it's been in me. It's been all my life, and so that was easy decision for me to go to school. And so from there, and but my mom's side is from Southern, so it's split. My dad's from Alcorn, my mom is from Southern. So we had to split the games. 1 week we got to go to Southern games. 1 week we got to go to Alcorn games. You know what I'm saying? So I just come from a SWAC family. My uncle's from Jackson. I got an uncle that was Jackson State. I got an auntie and uncle that's Grambling. I got two of my dad's brother and sister that's Mississippi Valley. I'm just a SWAC kid, come from a SWAC family.
Let me ask you this. You say your mom is Southern.
Yeah. Your
dad is Alcorn. Yeah. What made you gravitate toward Alcorn?
I've always been that guy that followed my dad. I'm like he was still a fan. I'm still a fan. He liked the Lakers. I like the Lakers. It's just kind of I was always into sports like him. My brother and sister actually went to Southern. My brother was a band guy, so he played in the band for Southern. My sister went to Southern too. But I just went on up to Mississippi with Alcorn. I always loved it.
That's interesting. You say basically you like Alcorn because your dad went to Alcorn, and you're that's something you and your dad connected on on that level. Okay, that's dope. That's dope. And so that's why. Does it hold a special meaning because it's something that you and your dad share?
Big time, big time. It was like tradition. There was our bonding moment. That's how we bonded. I knew in the fall, this day, we going to them games together. You know what I'm saying? Even as a kid, because we live 2 hours. I live 2 hours away. I live in Baton Rouge. I live 2 hours away, but it's gonna be a ride to the game. 2 hours there. Even as a kid, we gonna fuss about. We lose. We gonna fuss about the game all the way home. If not, we gonna have fun
celebrate
all the way home. We're gonna celebrate all the way home. And people always ask me, gee, you such a troll. Where you got your jokes? But I tell them my dad, on the way home from these games, he's calling all his Southern friends with all these jokes growing up. That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna call it. So that's where I get it from. So still to this day, a lot of stuff you hear on the internet, I steal from him. Still to this day. Barbershop we went to, it was owned by a Southernite, but the guy that sat next to him was a Groundernite. The other dude was a Jackson State. So when we go to the barbershop, they would literally call us Alcorn. They're like, look at Alcorn, because we was the only ones here representing Alcorn, and it just was fun. So I grew up in that, and the trolling and going. We beat Southern, and now we show up to the barbershop beating on the door with Alcorn.
So you grew up in the belly of the beast. In other words, and you didn't have any. What I mean by that is, you accepted you were an Alcorn guy in Southern. You embraced that, and you became the antagonist in the city where you live.
Yeah, a big time antagonist. I'm talking about huge, because my father was game week. He gonna put 6 Alcorn State car flags on the car and ride all through the city. We used to put the big Alcorn State flag and ride up on campus, on Southern campus, and just ride around, stopping at the bookstore for no reason. It's just what we did. And then we began to work together, and we get to work, and we in the break room just arguing and just putting up the newspaper clippings from the games and stuff. It's just what we always done.
Now, let me ask you this, because like I say, I came into SWAC, covering SWAC about 5 years ago. So all the rich history and tradition I don't know about. I know the schools because I'm a student of Black history. So I know, and my sister graduated from Southern many years ago. So I know all the schools, but I don't know the rivalries. I don't know who are the dominant teams and things like that. I'm just now really, the past 5 years, trying to understand and understand the history. So, you're in your mid to late 30s, correct? So I'm asking, what is your history between Southern and Alcorn? Who has, in your lifetime, who's gotten the best of one another in that?
Alcorn by four. It's not remotely close. We own the all-time record over. We're the only team that has a winning record against Southern right now. But in my life, we even when we were bad, we were beating Southern. And so I always had the ups. Even we were bad in our years, our 20-year run, we didn't win nothing. We were beating Southern. We'll come and beat Southern at Southern. And and I would act a fool, go running in the rain. And so that made me love it even more. We head to head, we've always had their number.
It's funny you mentioned that because, we had the Southern guys on HBCU Coach's Corner last week. We had BJ Jones and Perry. One of the things in recent history, and I'll say this, one of the things I didn't quite understand, because like I said, I've been in this space the last 5 years, they explained to me that they had a expectation of winning. Like Terrence Graves, he took the job, or he was hired to win championships. And that's what they expect. But in the last 5 years, I haven't seen, they've played for SWAC titles in those past 5 years. And really in those games, they hadn't really gotten close because they played Jackson State both times and they got the hammer put on them. Mm-hmm. But with you guys getting the best of them, also in recent history, they're having this situation where they're not winning. They still had these expectations of being a champion. I don't quite understand that. Do you understand it, being a person that you're from Southern?
Yeah, I don't. It's always been weird to me, and I always ask them that. It's always been weird. because outside of the Pete Richardson era, they haven't really done much. And outside of Pete Richardson good. I think they're just still on that Pete Richardson high, like just still hiring coaches that coach with Pete Richardson. Still, still talking about the Pete Richardson day. Oh, I remember when we did it like this on the Pete day. They still living on that Pete high. And outside of Pete, I think in the last 60 years they may have one championship outside of Pete, something like that. But they have these expectations. I think a lot of it because they have a big fan base, huge fan base. I mess with them, call them a band school, but they have a huge, big old fan base that can kind of get things done. So if the fan base starts rumbling and they don't like a coach, they can get them out of there. You know what I'm saying? They can go in there and get them out of there. So they have this expectation win from Pete, in my opinion. I don't think they got over there yet.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. So let's go back to Alcorn a little bit, Coach. So I know about Steve McNair. I know about, of course, Fred McNair. Mm-hmm. I also know about just left my train of thought. What I was going to say, when I first came looking into SWAC, my favorite quarterback, I must admit, was Felix Harper. Like that's the guy that I really like. When I looked at his highlights from the previous year, I want to say maybe 2019, 2020, 2019. That's the guy that I thought that was going to really light up the SWAC that year. Unfortunately, it kind of happened like that. But who are some other people, some other guys, some other things about Alcorn that a guy like me that's just coming in 4 or 5 years in, what should I know about Alcorn?
I think our fan is Marino Chasm, Isaac Hope, that played against Jerry Rice, Jerry Rice down the 84. In the 84 game, that's before I was born, but in the 84 game against Jerry Rice, and that's the biggest game ever played in Veteran Memorial Stadium, and that record is owned by the Alcorn State. The two highest attended games in that stadium has been Alcorn State. There, this is just a little shot for the people up the street. Also Donald Driver that played with the Green Bay Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Packers. Yep. Torrance Smalls that played with the Saints. It's just some names of some players that has been really good. Milton Mack, Ronell Young. We had a lot of good players over the years.
So what is the identity? I don't want to get into this blue bloods and tears talk. I don't want to get into that because I expect you to be biased like the Southern people are biased, like Jackson State's biased, right? But my question is, what is the identity of Southern? Not Southern. Is Alcorn recognized as a winner? Are they recognized as a championship level school? What is their brand in the SWAC and in HBCU football?
I think how I look at it, we're the small school that does much more than what's expected. So like our athletic budget's down there with Pine Bluff and Mississippi Valley. But if you look at the championships and the winning and the history, we're towards the top. We do less with more. We don't have all the resources. We've never had the resources. We've never had the biggest fan base. But if you look at it and go to the championships, we're near the top and everything. You look at the best players in this conference, you got to start with Alcorn. You look at some of the best coaches in this conference, you got to start with Alcorn. So that's our identity. I think it's been that small school without the resources in a remote location that's been able to get it done. And people asking, how do they do that? I think that was some of Southern problem. Like we have all these fans, all these nice facilities, all of this big old athletic budget, and then Alcorn is coming down here and thumping us with tape on their cleats. You see what I'm saying? With tape on their cleats, it's raining in the locker room, and they coming out here thumping us. You know what I'm saying? I think there's always been all that they gritty, backwood team.
So like put it like this here, in other brands of football, in other types of football, they always use the term gritty, blue collar, lunch pail. Bring your lunch pail. Would Alcorn be that kind of? Have that kind of brand? Yeah,
I think that's our brand. I think when we get away from that, we fail. I think that's our brand. We get too flashy, we fail with it. I think our brand is that lunch pail. Bring that lunch pail, let's go into work. We're not too flashy, it's just not who we are. We're a smaller school that's with a smaller base that can get the job done.
And I remember in the Dion era at Jackson, I know the first game was a knockdown drag out. It was a physical, physical game, and to be honest with you, Jackson State was fortunate to pull that game out. And in a lot of ways, you guys overperformed expectations in that game. Is that also one of Alcorn's signatures, that they rise to those big games and they outperform when they perform when they're counted out?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's when we're at our best. When we don't. I think in the past few years we kind of got the big head a little bit. Kind of start smelling ourselves. That's just not who Alcorn is. That's just not who we are. We the guys that we used to being overlooked. That's when we are our best. I think the last 2 years, like, they picked us number 1 to win the West last year. You know what I'm saying? For no reason at all. They just picked us to win the West. And I don't think that's who we are.
Okay. So you guys, so let me tell you this. Can you tell me about your platform that I watch a lot and is very popular in the HBCU space, Swaggin' A Fool? What made you start, or did you start it? Or tell me about how that came about, and what are you guys trying to do over there?
Well, it started with, just like I said, I go to all SWAC games. I'm talking about, if it's a big game, I want to be there. I just support the SWAC. I was just at the Southern University Athletic Gala last night. I just support the SWAC. This is what I do. So it was the spring year. They were playing Southern was playing Jackson State, and I go to the game. And one of my homegirls, she like, man, I gotta let you. I'm talking though. I'm in the stands talking about Alcorn. The only reason this game big because we ain't playing. We'll beat both of y'all. That's what I'm saying. I'm walking around talking to her. She like, let me introduce you to somebody that be talking the same type of noise. So she introduced me, and we start going at it. We're going at it. After I said, man, let's go out to eat. We go out to eat. We outside the restaurant. They put us on a waiting list. So we pull up. We standing outside in the parking lot, and we just talk. We go to talking. We just talking about. We talked about NFL. We both Steelers fans. Me and J Max at the time, my co-host. And then we say we both Laker fans, both from Baton Rouge, and we start knowing a lot of the same people. And we start, how long you been following Southern? He said, all my life. My mom been working at Southern 40 years. So we just started, like, we just went into it, and our style was the same. And from that day, we got to put this on tape. What we did today, we got to put it on tape. We're like, let's try it. And we put it on tape and tried it, and from there it was history. Swaggin' A Fool.
Yeah, I remember back when you guys just used to sit at a table and cut up, man. And it was always it was a hoot, man. It was always a hoot. It was like different than anything else. It was so much different than maybe HBCU game day. Even Scotty, it was, even because it was two people going back and forth, it was even much different to Scotty, because Scotty was a solo show. So you guys had y'all all different flavor. Now, is the comedy part of or is that just a natural thing that you guys have with one another?
It's natural, because we do it about anything. Just this summer, we both were head coaches of our kids' flag football team and didn't know it. So we got there to play each other, and so the referee stopped the game. They come out there and stop the game. Y'all have to stop arguing for the kid. We had to explain to him, listen, that's my best friend, bro. It's just what we do. I'm talking about his shoes. I'm out there. He talking about my hat. Take that hat off. Oh, he just shaved his face. Like so we going back and forth. They thought it was personal, but it's just how we do, how we rock, and so they make it work. And none of it is scripted. We don't talk about the show not one time before we hit go. Not what you gonna say. What you gonna say when I say this? Don't say this. Don't say. When we hit go, we don't talk before we hit go. What time you trying to go on? Oh, let's do it at 6, all right. And we're gonna hit play, and we just go. Oh
man, hey, like I say, it's if you guys hadn't checked out Swaggin' A Fool, I checked out the most recent, the last 2 episodes. I watched it. You guys brought up some very interesting points that I'm gonna go over here with you. What else? Where do you guys want to take Swaggin' A Fool?
Right now, I like it where it's at, just on YouTube, to get it big as we can. We've actually been talking to some people have been calling to try to get us on to join a network. We've turned down 2 already, just because I don't want to lose all control of it right now. We can kind of do what we won't, say what we won't, kind of that part of it. I think that'll take a lot out. We had one caller who was like, hey, we love what you guys do. Can you take food out of it? And we'll put some money behind it, but it can't be SWAC food. Can it be SWAC and news? And no cursing. I'm like, that's cool. I wouldn't mind. If it was a huge bag, I might think about it. but it wasn't nothing to, so I'm like, no. So right now we're just gonna keep the little independent thing going and keep trying to push it out to whoever we can.
Now you mentioned in one of those episodes that since you had Swaggin' A Fool, y'all ain't done nothing.
Nothing. Not nothing. And before the reason why, I wanted to start a podcast years ago. I used to, and this is 2017, 2018, when we were dominating, I used to say, I'm gonna start a podcast because I had built up a fan base before I started a podcast. I was already on the sidelines in the SWAC, and it was strictly on Facebook. I used to go on Facebook and just troll in Facebook groups. Troll, put information there. I used to have a lot of breaking news. I put it in the group. So before I had a YouTube channel, it was strictly Facebook. And I would say we going 13-1, 12-2 this year, and we'll win the games I say we're gonna win. So it makes me look like a genius. So I'm on top of the world. Everybody like, dang, G I'm on top of the world. And as soon as I start my show, my Braves go the opposite direction. But it's fun. It's fun. I get more views and it's actually fun when we lose because everybody wants to see what I gotta say. I get before I can even hit live, I look in the waiting room and it's 200 people on there. When we played Jackson State this past year and lost like that, I got to my waiting room to go live. By the time I got there, it was 400 people waiting for me waiting on me to get on live because when they lose, they want to hear what I gotta say. So
now, G, you do something I think is kind of unique, and you do it in a unique way. In this regard, this is what I'll say. You can be staunchly critical of your school, but also be supportive, like undeniably supportive.
Yeah.
Like you can be critical like you said something the other day when I watched it. You said, I'm gonna quit doing all this bragging and boasting and talking about these players or whatever, but I'm still that's my team. That's always gonna be my team. I'm gonna support them or whatever. You also said some things related to the coaches as well. And I found that kind of a unique perspective. Like, yeah, I'm going to criticize you almost because I love you so much. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's why I'm criticizing. Yeah. Is that how it kind of come across? Is that how it lands with the people, the players, and the coaches?
Yeah, that's how it is. What helps it out is that I'm there, though. I'm not just talking on the internet. I'm there when they move it into their dorms and they need a truck. I'm helping them move it in. If they got something going on, they call and say, G, I need this going on. They're going to call G, the coaching staff as well. Like, G, we coming in town. We got this. G, I need. I'm there. I'm accessible to the athletic department 100%. And so I think that's what separates me from a lot of people. I'm not just on the internet talking. I'm actually what you see on the internet. I'm actually more in person on that campus, walking in the building, walking in the team meetings, walking whatever was ever needed of me. I'm talking about literally I can get a call from coach say, look, I need to get this message out. We need to raise this type of money for this. Boom, it's done. It's handled. Everything.
Because one of my strong critiques of the HBCU space is that you almost, first off, everybody homeboys, everybody is cordial and kind, but it makes it so difficult to maintain relationships while being honest at the same time. Like and one of the cool things about that attracts all of us to sports is that we can be authentic about how we feel about the game, the team. At the same time, none of this is personal. Nobody lives or dies. You understand what I'm saying? But it seems like in the HBCU space, as a sports media guy, once I start criticizing the coach, whether it be a decision or his record or whatever, the relationship really breaks down. Do you have any explanation for why that's the situation?
I think it's a trust thing. I'm not sure. I haven't put my hand on, because even with me, all I just said, when I first started it, I kind of was getting side eyes a little bit for being critical, because I'm gonna be critical. And then, but once they start seeing me around and the coaches start noticing, oh, this is the man that called, we got a problem. He can say that, and it kind of got easy on me. Just like Cedric Thomas, you're telling me that's coming up next. One thing I love about that guy is he wants the criticism. He'll call me and say, one game, he like, G, don't go easy on me. I messed it up. We messed it up. Don't go easy on me. It was a game last year. We played McNeese State. I always tell this story. We played McNeese State, and we got beat bad. And so I go live in the parking lot of the game. I'm going live, and I'm handing it to him. oh, this is ridiculous, and it falls on coaching, So that week, I didn't go to campus that week. So we played Mississippi Valley that following week, and just so happened, I always go in the locker room with the team for the game. Just so happened, I'm standing outside the locker room. So during that week, one of the older alums kind of was like, Coach, I think somebody talking about they on that SWAC'n A Fool talking about you. You better watch them. They on that SWAC'n A Fool talking about you up there. Doing kind of what how you say go. He throwing you in the ground. So I'm standing outside the locker room. I know I'm gonna go in, but for whatever reason, me and my boy, we just standing outside the locker room because Valley got a smaller locker room. So I'm like, it's hot now. I'm gonna stand outside. Because me personally, I was going in there anyway. But so when he comes out, this boy, he come out, he said, why you ain't come to the locker room? I don't care about you criticizing me. You a part of this family. You welcome to the title. I don't care what you say. You got the right to say that. You a part of this family. We played bad. You spoke on it. I don't care. They trying to build it up, be messy. I'm with you. I'll rock with you. You come in their locker room. I don't care what they say. And turned around and walked off. Like he literally got on me. It was so bad to people like, damn, G, what you do? I'm like, man, I ain't going to the locker room, bro. My bad. It was so bad so they thought that he was getting on me about my comments when in actuality he was fussing at me because I didn't go in the locker room, So yeah, that's the type of dude he is.
Well, that's dope, man. That because that's like I said, that's one of my criticisms in these space. My co-host, Coach Cole, Mr. Campbell, they have relationships all over the SWAC. And I'm just going to be honest, I'm not going to speak specifically, but because of the things that have been said on the show, those relationships in some cases have been strained. And it's unfortunate because this is about football. Like, we all enjoy it. We love football. We love sports. We giving our honest opinion. At the end of the day, the coaches are the professionals, but ain't I entitled to my opinion?
I agree. And there's a lot of us like that. I'm gonna be honest. I ain't gonna, I don't hold back. The last coaching staff wasn't so, wasn't so forthcoming with me and my critiques. The last coaches, the head of the last coach staff right now, I got told, hey, G, I don't think he rocking with you. And I ain't never attacked nobody personally. I don't do that. I don't attack nobody personally. I don't do that. I just disagree with some things, and I don't think I get a invite to the wedding if the wedding was this weekend. So
and the other thing though, G, is the coaches. People may not know. For a sports guy like me, I don't know the president of Southern.
Right.
I don't know the chancellor. I don't know the provost. I don't know none of them people. But I do know Terrence Graves. So Terrence Graves is the school. He is actually probably the most popular man on campus. Yeah. And he has to understand that. Coach Thomas has to understand that. And Coach Dishman and Coach Jackson. I think there are coaches that do embrace. Some coaches actually embrace it. But when you're the head coach of a university football team, there's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide, G.
Yep, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You got to be able to take criticism. You got to be able to, I can understand the personal things, the personal matter. Some people don't like the personal matter. That's fine.
Now, I'm not, and I'm one of the guys, I'm not going to talk about who you're dating and who you're going with and who you're married to and how many girlfriends or boyfriends you got and all that kind of stuff. Yes. I'm not interested in none of that. I'm even going to say this. When it comes to interpersonal relationships with coaches and players, right?
Yeah.
If it's a disagreement, I could report on it. If it's abuse or mistreatment, I think as a media personality, we're obligated to give that kid or that family an outlet to voice their grievance. As if it involves abuse or mistreatment. Now, if it's just you not playing me, you didn't put me in the game. Right, no, it ain't none of that. I ain't talking about none of that. You know what I mean by when it's talking about mistreatment or abuse. Hey, let me do a little housekeeping right quick. Hey, I want to thank everybody who's been watching this on Off Script. I want to thank y'all for watching it. But we're going to suspend it on Off Script, and we're going to continue this on the Rocky Middle channel. I'll give you a couple minutes. Let me go find a link so I can put the link in the chat so you guys won't be left stranded with nowhere to go. G and I are having a great conversation, man. And I'm learning a lot, and it's good to see that Coach Campbell and Coach Cole and myself, when we had these conversations about what's going on in SWAC, it's good just to know that somebody else is observing, experiencing the same thing, and it let me know that we're not crazy. We just not out here thinking, hey, coach shouldn't have a problem. We didn't talk about his mama. We didn't tell him his kid was ugly. Yep. We just told him we didn't like the play that he was running. He should have done more in recruiting. Who's he playing at quarterback? He don't have no better quarterback than that. Those are the things that we say, and these guys get upset. And again, one of the other things too, Coach, G, these guys are getting compensated quite handsomely.
Yes.
And I know they don't want to be separated from their bread, right?
I think another one part of the problem is, Rocky, is in my experience, right? People gonna say it's a shot, but I promise I'm not taking a shot. I'm just using an example. I think some coaches get head coaching jobs off their name, off of the relationship they have with the university, off that more than their X's and O's and what they've proven, right? So then you start criticizing and they get in their feelings because they feel like you're attacking them. And